Milking the moment. I was in the library so long I missed lunch. I guess the bell rang, but I didn't pay any attention to it, so I had to wait until dinner to spring my trap. It was tough keeping quiet. The guys would be blown away when I told them what I'd figured out. It was also amazingly incredible. I caught up with them in line. Lucky hadn't come back from his weekend with his dad, so it was just Flinch, Torchy, Cheater, and me. When we brought our trays from the food line, I grabbed a seat next to Flinch. This was perfect. All I needed was a distraction. That came quickly enough. I noticed Torchy's napkin was on fire. It wasn't a big blaze. The edge was lightly smoldering. "Fire," I said, just loud enough so Flinch looked at Torchy's tray. I reached out and smothered the fire with my right hand. As I leaned across the table, I knocked over my milk with my left hand. Before the carton even landed, Flinch jumped out of his seat. At this point, he wasn't even looking in my direction. "Hey, careful," he said as the milk glugged out the open lip of the carton and splashed over the spot where his butt had just been resting. "Oh, wow, I'm sorry," I said. I mopped up the chair with a handful of extra napkins I had on my tray. I knew I'd need them, so I grabbed a whole bunch. It was hard to keep from grinning. But I wasn't grinning over spilled milk. I was grinning over the proof that I'd hoped to find. And, as expected, Flinch was bone dry. Not a drop had touched him. "What's so funny?" he asked. "Oh, I'll tell you later," I whispered. This was great. I was dying to tell them, right there, but I didn't want anyone at the other tables to hear. "It's a secret. I'll explain when we get back to the room." "Oh, I can't wait to hear this," Flinch said. "Hear what?" Torchy asked. "Later," I said. Cheater gave me an odd look. I had a feeling he already knew what I was going to talk about. Even so, he didn't say anything. None of the others had a clue yet, but that would change after dinner. As I finished my meal, I thought about how thrilled they'd be to hear the truth. "Okay," Torchy said after we'd gathered in the room, "what's this big mystery?" That was a good choice of words. I felt like the detective at the end of a mystery movie when he's gathered all the suspects together and is about to explain everything. I stood up and pointed at Cheater. "Why are you at this school?" "You know why," he said. "They think I cheat on tests." "But do you ever cheat?" "No, I don't need to cheat. I'm smart. Ask me anything at all." "I know you're smart," I told Cheater. "What about you? Why are you here?" I asked, pointing to Flinch. "I'm kind of jumpy," he said. "I guess I get distracted a lot. It messes up my grades. According to my teachers, I'm a disruptive influence in the classroom." "And we all know why Torchy is here," he said, "but maybe the adults are wrong about you guys. Maybe there's another explanation." This was going to be great. They'd be amazed when I told them what I'd figured out. "What explanation?" Torchy asked. "Here it goes." I thought, "You all have psychic abilities."
Mom.
I'm working right now. Dead silence filled the room and 3 pairs of puzzled eyes stared at me. I might as well have been speaking Turkish. I realized they needed more of an explanation. I could understand that. This was a big idea to grasp all at once. Flinch has precognition, and Cheater is telepathic, I said, stumbling a bit over the words as I showed off my new vocabulary. I couldn't wait for them to congratulate me on my brilliance. "Huh?" Torchy said. "Precognition?" Flinch asked. "Sounds like a device that starts a car by remote control." Cheater just looked at me like I was crazy. "Really?" I said. "It's true. Cheater is telepathic. He can read minds. That's why he always has the same answers on his tests as other people in the room. I'll prove it." I needed to concentrate on something so Cheater could read my mind. A number. That would be a good test. But not a small number. It couldn't be something simple like the number 7. Everyone thinks of 7. Just like everyone thinks of the ace of spades if you ask them to name a card. It has to be a bigger number. My house was on 85 Pritchard Drive. I closed my eyes and thought real hard of the number 85. I pictured a big 85, huge red digits flashing like a score in a video game. I said, 85, 85, 85, over and over in my mind, and then said, "Okay, Cheater, what number am I thinking of? How should I know?" Cheater said, "Oh, come on, take a guess." I knew he could get it. Cheater shrugged, then said, 7. "Is that it?" "Yeah. It was, but then I changed it. It started out as 7. "Big deal," Flinch said. "Everyone picks 7. "Oh, forget about the numbers. That doesn't matter. Think back," I urged the others. "Cheater always knows what I'm thinking. It must have happened to the rest of you, too. Haven't any of you noticed? Come on, you must have." "My mom usually knows what I'm thinking," Torchy said. "I'm thinking you blew a brain gasket," Flinch said. I could tell they were ready to walk away. This was not how it was supposed to go. They should have been thrilled. They should have been thanking me. Maybe Cheater wouldn't cooperate, but I wasn't ready to give up. Flinch, I said, pointing at him. I know this sounds really wild, but you're precognitive. That means you know things that are going to happen before they happen. Like with the milk, you jumped before I spilled it. You did that on purpose? Flinch asked, his face shifting from surprise to anger. Hey, that's really rotten. I could have gotten all wet. But you didn't. That's the point. Why do you think you're so jumpy? It's because you see stuff coming before it happens. You knew the milk was going to spill. Somehow you saw it before it happened, or felt it, or just knew it was coming. The rest of us, we go through lumps, getting bumps and having small accidents. I'm always stubbing my toes, or I'll bang my elbow when I walk around a corner. You avoid all that, but it makes you look really jumpy, and you start worrying about the stuff that you see coming from the future instead of paying attention to the present. I paused to catch my breath. I felt like I was giving a speech, but I just couldn't help myself. There was so much to tell them. You get in trouble for interrupting, too. You think the teacher's done talking, but that's because you're seeing ahead, or hearing ahead. Don't you get it? It makes perfect sense. Flinch shook his head. I just can't believe you spilled that milk on purpose. It doesn't make sense at all, Cheater said, and Flinch is right. It wasn't nice of you to spill milk on him. I ignored Cheater and revealed my final piece of evidence. Think about Torchy, I said. Have you ever actually seen him light a fire, even once? I haven't, and I live in the same room with him. They're always blaming him, but no one's ever caught him. He'd have to be the sneakiest kid born to get away with that. Torchy isn't sneaky. He's teleperic. That means that he can start fires with his mind. I grabbed my notebook, ripped out a page, and thrust a sheet of paper at Torchy. Come on, light it. Martin, Torchy said, this is some kind of stupid joke, right? No joke. Come on, light it. I moved the paper right in front of his face. Please? I can't do nothing like that, honest. I told you I didn't start no fires. You didn't know you started them, I said, but you caused the fires, not with a lighter, but with your mind. Come on, try. If you're my friend, you'll at least give it a shot. Despite his protests, Torchy tried. He stared at the paper, his brow got all wrinkled, his eyes narrowed to slits. He concentrated so hard that he grunted. Nothing happened. Are you sure you're trying? I asked. Yeah, I'm trying. It's not working. Face it, Martin, you're crazy. How's that for a simple explanation? Edgeview has gotten to you. Yeah, Edgeview has pushed you over the edge, Flinch said. How's the view from there? I'm not crazy, I told him. It all makes sense. Perfect sense. Think about it. It's getting late, Cheater said. It's almost 8:05. What did you say? I spun towards him. A tingle of excitement ran through my scalp as his words sunk in. 85. Okay. And this is part of the research that Martin did in the library. And it says from the Franklin Concise Encyclopedia, 1963 edition, vintage. Telepathy, also known as mind reading, is the theoretical ability to sense the thoughts of others. Though many claims of telepathic ability have been made over the centuries, no scientific evidence has been found. See also parapsychology and extrasensory perception.